Hey guys, welcome to another video. In this video we're going to look at how you can fast track your savings for a deposit. The methods that I'm going to share with you today are the ones that I've personally used myself, and that has helped me save over $100,000 by the age of 23. Now I've been actually working since I was 14 and I'm 28 now, so it's pretty crazy to think that I've been working half my life, but that's a fact. And the methods that I'm going to share with you are going to be from a mixture from things that you can do immediately to habits that you can form to fast track your deposit. And make sure you stick around to the end, because I'm going to share with you a strategy that I've used where you only need to save for one house deposit and you still are able to build a property portfolio. Alrighty, so let's get into it. The biggest one that I would say is your mindset. When you put your mind towards doing something, unbelievably things happen. Okay, so my personal mindset of savings is I have a lot of patience before I buy something. I don't spend unnecessarily, think before you buy, and only buy something if you really need it. And the golden rule, which is time is money. So talking about patience, like, you know, this isn't really a savings trick, but it's more about how to reduce your expenses. I don't know about you, but you know, I've been driving for since I was 16, so about 12 years, and I've never ever had a speeding fine, any sort of ticket, anything like that. And I reckon I've saved maybe hundreds and thousands of dollars from someone else that, you know, may have not had enough patience on the road and, you know, rushing things around. And that's one of them. You know, have patience. You know, like if you're buying something online, just go with the standard postage. You don't need to pay $17 extra for express postage. Like, that's what I'm getting to. It's about your mindset, about patience. There's 1,000 other examples that I could potentially share, but I don't want to make this video too long. The next one is don't spend unnecessarily. So, you know, before I buy something, I really make sure that it's something that I need, it's something that I'm going to use, it's something that I may have been thinking about getting. I don't just look at it once and go, yep, I'll just buy this, because I'm a bit more frugal like that. I like to maybe research it, look it up online, maybe do a price match, you know, things like that. That has helped me save a lot of money over the years. Which comes to my next point, which is about think and research before you buy. So which is what I was trying to say is, you know, I'd always have something on the back of my mind. Yep, I need this. Tomorrow, yep, so I still need it. The next day I still need it, depending on how big or small the thing is. And that sort of mindset has helped me offset purchases and maybe buy something at a future date where maybe it's been cheaper, maybe I didn't even need it in the end, or maybe I found an alternative. And only buy something if you really need it within reasons. So for example, I own quite a few pairs of shoes, but they're all sort of different for different occasions and things like that. I don't have a sneaker collection or anything like that. And you know, sneakers can go anywhere from $100 to $300, $400, $500, you know. And my last point on mindset is that time is money. Sometimes it's cheaper just to pay to get something done rather than doing it yourself. Just always think about how much time you're spending doing something and whether it's just cheaper to do it. An easy way to determine whether it's something you should just pay for or it's something you should do yourself is come up with an hourly rate. So for example, I think back then I used to use something like $20 an hour. So if something is going to cost me an hour to do, but I could pay someone maybe a lot less and get it done in half an hour, then it might be cheaper just to get it done in half an hour and pay them rather than I'm spending an hour on it. So I'm spending $20 on it an hour. Someone else could do it for $10 in half an hour. You know, I've just saved myself $10 in time basically, because I could then spend my time doing something else. Time is money, remember that. Alrighty, so the other point I wanted to share with you is picking up a weekend job or a casual job. That can really fast track your deposit. I've worked part-time and then I've studied at uni, and I've also had a casual job on the side. And in the future, when I had my first full-time job, I still retained my weekend job. So it really helped me save a lot of money, kept me pretty busy as well. I was going out less, I was also spending less. And yeah, that's probably the biggest thing to my deposit savings. The other thing I can share with you is things around food and drinks. So I do go out for food and drinks from time to time. I'm a bit selective now where I go and where I not go. Sometimes it's just easier just to make something at home and just go out for drinks instead. You save money on dinner and things like that. So this is getting into a little bit more nitty gritty, but you know, these habits will help you save a lot of money over time. And another big one on food is make your own lunches. Since I've been working full time, I've always packed my lunch. I think there's only been 3 or 4 times in a year where I've actually gone out and buy lunch. And I know that over the time, if you actually make your own lunches, you're eating healthy, you're saving a lot of money on costs, and you know what you're putting into your food, and it's really good for your overall diet and fitness. The next one I wanted to talk about is having a credit card. Now, first thing you'll say is, mate, this guy's trying to help me save money, but he's telling me to get a credit card. The point here is you can defer paying for your purchases today so that you can keep the money in your account, and maybe your money is offsetting a mortgage, maybe your money is in a high interest saving account earning interest. And what I do with my credit cards is I always pay them in full on the due date, and things like you can set up a direct debit, you can schedule a payment to be paid on the due date, or you can simply put a reminder and manually pay it before a couple of days before it's due. On credit cards as well, what you can do is get a credit card that will give you points and rewards. So any credit card that I've ever had has always been a rewards credit card. So one, I get a sign-up bonus of X amount of points, and that can add a lot of instant value. So you could probably redeem those points for gift cards or even pay off the account using those points. And as you're spending, so with your mindset, you're only buying things that you really need. As you're spending it on that credit card, you're earning points as for your purchases, which you would normally purchase anyway. And those points accumulate over the time, and you can claim them for rewards and gift cards and things like that to help you save even further. The other thing on credit card is that if you're young and you start a credit card sooner before you get your home loan, it also helps you build your credit score. Just make sure you pay it on time. And overall, like with my credit cards that I've had, I've never paid a single cent of interest ever. Alrighty, so if you're liking this content here, I would really appreciate if you could drop me a like down below. Just gives me a bit of feedback on the content that I'm providing. Alrighty, so moving on to another point that I use is health insurance. So what health insurance would do for you is you pay a small monthly fee, and it gives you a range of benefits that you can use on yourself. So things like optical like sunglasses, glasses, contact lenses, all that sort of stuff. Healthy lifestyle, so my health insurance gives me a couple $100 a year just for me to remain fit, and that's if it's like a healthy lifestyle benefit. And also it gives you things like massages. I personally get like $600 worth of massages a year. Now you're thinking, how is this going to help me save for a deposit? The point here is if you're already paying for these things, you might need to consider getting a health insurance. And I currently pay around $80 for my health insurance per month. But with the government rebate, I think it comes down to around $60 a month. And the range of benefits that I get outweighs the cost that I'm paying for them anyway. And with the massages and everything, I feel great, I'm more energetic, I'm more relaxed, and that helps me push and do other things. And most importantly, I get to look after my health as well. The other thing I want to talk about is car insurance. So you can save hundreds of dollars by adjusting your car insurance. So I'm referring to the third party or the comprehensive. I always recommend get comprehensive. The way you can save money is if you have your parents, you could put them as the listed drivers, and that would reduce your policy down significantly, especially if you're in your 20s or even if you're 18 or 19. The only catch to that is if you do have an at-fault accident, you may have to pay an extra excess. So check with your insurer around that, and that can instantly save you a few $100s by doing that change. The other thing I want to talk about is clothing. So, I don't have a huge wardrobe. Definitely don't have a huge sneaker collection or anything like that. I only buy within means. In fact, the last few years I barely even shopped for any clothes. I wore the same stuff all the time. I read an interesting quote when I was in high school, and it was there on the wall, and it went something along the lines of, in 10 years time, no one's gonna remember, or no one's gonna think what haircut you had, or what color you put in your hair, or what brand your t-shirt was, or anything like that. You know, these are things in the present that you might be conscious of yourself. So on that basis, I generally don't buy any designer clothing. I only buy things that I really need and things I'm going to wear regularly, rather than those one-off sort of outfits. As a general guide, you know, my t-shirts are probably less than $30, jeans about 100, 150, but I only have a couple of 2 or 3 different pairs, and shoes anywhere from $30 to about $120. So just be conscious of your clothing that you purchase. Think about how many times you're going to wear it. Obviously, if you're only going to wear it a couple of times and you need it for a particular occasion, you know, you may look at other options such as renting it. This is more for girls, but you know, myself, I only have my staple clothes that I wear regularly, and for going out and stuff, I only have a couple of different outfits that I use. You know, I don't need 10 different outfits for each time I go out, so it's helped me save a lot of money. So talking about clothes and wardrobe, it brings me to my last point. It's about selling your old items. Now, you know, I've sold personally a lot of items over the years on Facebook Market, Gumtree, eBay, and so on. I personally like Gumtree the best. I don't generally sell any clothing or anything like that because, number one, my clothing isn't anything spectacular worth selling, and I also wear my clothing quite regularly. I donate my clothing when I'm done with them. They're not worth selling. But I do end up selling a lot of home appliances around. You know, TVs, computers, phones, laptops and things like that. Things that I've purchased, use them a little bit, and then I sell them so I can buy the next model. I like technology myself, and I like to have the latest and the greatest, but I'm trying to bring that down a little bit and only buy within means. So I hope you found those tips quite helpful. If you stuck around to the end of the video, thank you, and I'm glad you liked some of the content that made you stick. So I just wanted to touch on one point, what I said at the beginning of the video about only saving for one house deposit. So to give you an example, what I actually did is when I saved for my first house deposit, over $100,000 at the age of 23, over the years, what has happened is I've been able to actually release equity from the house that I had purchased back then. When I say release equity, generally what happens if you buy a house for $500,000 today, and a year, 2 years later, you go to the bank and they say, okay, well the valuations come back at $550, that's $50,000 already, and you can borrow 80% of that again, which will give you instantly $40,000 of equity that you can use as a deposit for your next purchase. And generally speaking, you can start investing today with $40,000 cash. So if you liked any of these points that I've put out, drop me a comment below. I would appreciate any feedback that you have to offer, and it'll help me bring out more videos in the future. And overall, if you like my channel, do give me a subscribe as well. I would appreciate it. Thanks guys, have a good one.